almost cost me my marriage. I'll put it that way.
Wow.
Okay. Well, let's shake it off. Take a stretch to the left, take a stretch to the right.
Drink a bourbon.
Yeah, let's take how about a drink of a beer? All right. Make a joke. Come on. Do something, Cash. You're funny as hell.
Oh my gosh. You crippled me when I came on and you said, you can't cuss. And I went, oh, okay. Are you a Christian now?
No.
No, I don't know. I don't know what to say. You just took
sorry.
me to
I know I took the wind out of the sails.
Wind out of my sails. It's
Sorry.
supposed to be the wind beneath my wings, and now you're Oh my gosh. So how long have you been doing the podcast now?
We've been doing it for about a month now. We try to have, a little bit more lighthearted conversation. So tell us about Atheists on Air. I know you've got a bunch to say about that. I know you don't do it so much anymore, but
I love it.
It's a hell of a podcast.
It's therapy for me. And it was probably more for my own self than it was for others, but I ended up, you fall in love with people and you get to know people that are amazing people. And then you have people that come in and volunteer and help out with the podcast, like Stephanie. And you go, wow, somebody that will take time out of their busy life. She's got young children, a husband, a life, job, full time, and she's willing to do this stuff. Massive amount of respect for these types of people. Plus, I got to hear other views, other people's stories, which, not that you want to hear that somebody else had it rougher than you, but it makes yours more palatable, where you can go, oh, okay, so I'm not alone here. Not that you want anybody to be with you through pain, but it does help. The ego side of me goes, yes, I'm glad to know that there's some people that have felt the pain. And apparently that resonated with thousands of people because it has a lot of downloads. Atheists on Air, because of work and because of life in general, I've got 4 grandkids now, 2 in the last 4 weeks and, or 2 more in the last 4 weeks.
You're an old man.
Yeah, I am. And I have, your kids you think, okay, well, I can't wait till my kids are adults and then I don't have to deal with all these problems. No, the problem with adult children is you end up with problems you can't fix for them.
They're
I can fix
problems that you can't deal with.
Right, they're adult-sized problems. And so what you get is heartache and pain. And my kids, I've been fortunate. I've got college grads. I've got a daughter that just got out of the military who did fantastic, just starts college October 8th. And you go, wow. Not that I did a good job. I got lucky, I believe, because if anybody could be confused about parenting skills, it would be my kids, because I went from this conservative nut job to a more lax, liberal, oh, are you out of condoms? I'm going to start out ordering those on Amazon on a monthly ship thing, and not literally, but you see what I'm saying? I was more liberal with the whole concept. No more did they have to go to church, no more. And my kids got to be themselves. So I can't complain, but life got in the way of the podcast was requiring a lot of time. And apparently my wife says I'm OCD. I haven't been diagnosed, but, I would spend days, literally a day's worth of time foregoing my real job, hurting my income, potentially risking the employment of my employees so that I could write scripts and rewrite it and edit this. And it was just, so if you're out there listening to a podcast, just know there is a butt ton load of time that goes into a podcast, and they are a labor of love, and you should support it. If you like it, even if it's a quarter a month, commit to something and do it. And if it's $1, do $1. If it's $100, do $100. I was fortunate. We had some great freaking listeners, and it helped me out, but it doesn't help me pay my employees who I was risking their livelihoods because I was forced to work. Yeah, I could make it, but I couldn't make it for me and them. And so I had to change things, and that's what I did. I had to step back for a while.
And I will personally state this. The reason why Cash is on tonight is because of the absolute professionalism and the production value of all of the episodes that he put out. It's, oh goodness, I can't expound upon it enough. Go to the website, aoafm.fm, and just listen. Just go back and scroll. You're going to meet some old characters. You're going to meet some new characters. There was love. There's always, Pastor J. Just go back and listen. And if you don't, if you can't do anything, that's fine. For me, I'm like Cash, it's just a labor of love for me to make these podcasts, but it does make a difference, and there's a lot of good content there. I can't, and I know you can't state it enough also, Cash, that there's just a good God, in quotation marks, just so much content's there. You were doing what, 3-4 hour episodes there,
Yeah, we were doing 4-hour episodes once a week, and then we went, I just couldn't keep up with it, and then we went to, I believe monthly, and then, I couldn't even keep up with the monthly because it would take me a week to do a literal week, a 40-hour work week to create a 4-hour podcast live. Not that a lot of it was impromptu, but you had to have a structure. And you had Pastor Roy, and you had this whole thing.
Pastor Jay, I'm sorry. Pastor Roy.
Oh, no, Pastor Jay's on there now.
Yeah, now he is.
So there's some great stuff. I don't know. I miss it in so many ways. I just can't do it yet. And once I can, I will, if they'll let me back on.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be a big problem. Once you get everything situated and, you get back in the right state of mind and, get your finances, whatever you've got going on. I don't want to make any assumptions, but, I don't think it's going to be a big problem for you to get back on. I think I can speak for everyone.
They've offered me to come back on anytime. I was mostly just being facetious, but I am, humbly facetious. I guess that's almost self-aggrandizing at that point. But I am thankful that there were people like Professor Stephen who took it over, and Rachel has been huge. Pastor Jay, big deal. That's a lot of work, and most people don't realize it. You take somebody like No Illusions, who does the Scathing Atheist podcast. Lots and lots of work. Cognitive Dissonance podcast.
Which, by the way, No Illusions is actually the dude's name. His name is literally Noah Illusions. If you haven't listened to him, go through the Scathing Atheist.
The Scathing Atheist is fantastic. It's very well edited. Lots of work that goes into that. Hours and hours and hours, and you don't miss a beat. I heavily edited so that you get the most bang for your buck, where ours was kind of a run-on for 4 hours, and you got some boring parts because we hadn't scripted it or didn't have a topic, or we got sidetracked with something else, or I got too drunk during it or something. But if there's a value in it at all, there was for me. I can't. It's therapeutic for me.
Now,
it's not as good as Sausage and a Happy Ending, but it was therapeutic, nevertheless.
Now, I wouldn't feel bad, and again, I have to plug him because he's how I found you in the first place, Cash. Paul with the Coronify Me. I have to plug him because if it wasn't, again, like I said, if it wasn't for him and Pastor Roy on doing a plug there on Coronify Me, I would have never found one of the best friends of my entire life. So,
oh yeah. there's so many good ones. Adam Reek's podcast, it is unbelievably well done. Bryce Blakenagel, the cognitive dissonance guys are fantastic.
David Michael.
David Michael, fantastic podcast and a sexy freaking voice.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
cow.
I wish I could speak that deeply.
Yeah, I mean, just brilliant voice. Just easy to listen to. So there's so many good podcasters out there. I still have my favorite go-to podcast, and it's probably a bias. It's like with the first time you have ice cream and you had Rocky Road. Well, now Rocky Road's your favorite. Doesn't matter what they come out with. Rocky Road's my favorite because nothing else has marshmallows in it. So kiss my butt. So I would say that my favorite is Skeptic's Guide to the Universe because it's one of the first ones I found, and Atheist Experience. But Scathing Atheist, all the ones we've already mentioned are ones I listen to. Bobby Carey's podcast is fantastic. It just down to earth podcast. Barroom Atheist, another great podcast. But there's no way you can, unless you're wealthy, there's no way you can listen to them all. There's no way.
I love that as we're wrapping up, we're, fanboying, even though I'm fanboying over you, we're fanboying over things that we all love. I mean, you just mentioned the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. Oh my goodness. How much squee do I have that whenever I went to Nexus, I've been to Nexus for the last couple of years. I met Steve Novella. I've met all of them. I haven't met Santa Cara Maria yet. Hopefully this next Nexus she'll be there, but I've met every one of them. I even met the unknown Novella, which is Joe Novella, and he's actually cooler than Steve is. He's believe it or not, he's the twin brother of Bob Novella. They're just such really cool people. I mean, they're such good, unbelievable people. So if anybody, since we're fanboying, if you haven't listened to the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, listen to the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe.
Yeah, you can't beat that because even a non-Christian can listen to that and not be offended. Yeah. Because it's rare that they go off on a religious tangent. That is a very popular podcast. I mean, several 100,000 downloads a month.
The only time whenever they go off into a religious tangent is whenever the religious tangent goes into the thing that hurts someone.
Right.
So,
but it's rare. It's rare. Most of their stuff has to do with skepticism, and if you apply the stuff that you'd learn there, you just become a better human being. You never quit learning. First podcast I listen to each week is SGU. The second podcast I listen to each week is Atheist Experience. And the Atheist Experience is only because it was the first one I found. And it is fantastic. Matt Dillahunty, is just a brilliant mind, and the entire staff. Tracy Harris is my favorite on there. Jen Peoples, brilliant minds. And so I would encourage you to listen to those. If you've never heard of them, you won't be offended, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Are you tired of hearing the same old depressing news?
Exhausted with the state of the world and see no hope for its future?
Then why not escape reality with the Atheist Apocalypse podcast?
Come meet the people in the mysterious events of the Tri-Counties, where the despair is hilarious and the baseless hopelessness is scarce.
A fictional comedy audio story, unlike anything in the podcasting realm. Atheist Apocalypse will take you away from your daily woes while informing you about the secret plot to take over the planet.
Stupid. Don't tell the listeners of the show that. They're not ready.
Sorry, I thought they should know.
You're an idiot. They need to listen to Atheist Apocalypse first. Otherwise, they'll be unprepared for the news.
If your podcast lineup needs some comedy, or even if it doesn't, add Atheist Apocalypse Podcast to your queue. To enjoy our bi-weekly adventures with the wacky cast and crew, you can subscribe